All right. Great. So if you just joined, if you want to put in the chat where you are tuning in from, that would be amazing for everybody to see. Welcome. Okay. So today we're going to be starting this program here with some conscious movement. And so you can do that right from your chair, which is the way I'll be doing it. You can stand up if that feels better. I'll be leading us through this with the intention to get more focused and grounded today. And lastly, we're going to be hosting what's called a leaderboard challenge for the workshop. So this is based on your participation during the hour. Those who are most engaged, which is like using the chat function and posting emojis, can win prizes that will be announced at the end. So go ahead and stay present and involved until the end. So now let's get started with the conscious movement portion of the hour. So go ahead and find a comfortable position and start to focus in on your breath and deepen your inhales and your exhales. Start to land here on this air meet, which is a little different from Zoom, and just in the room that you're in. Taking those deep breaths in and long breaths out. You can go ahead and even close your eyes if that feels good for you. Depending, maybe you've had a full day, maybe it's morning where you are. Everyone is here from all over the world. So big inhale, breathing in trust for yourself. And exhale, letting go of stress, even anticipation, just being here. Big inhale, trusting in the process all the way into your belly. And exhale, letting go of any anxiety or worry. Now take the biggest breath you've taken all day, all the way into your belly, into your lungs, really filling up, and hold it at the top. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, open mouth exhale. Just let something go. Really nice. Now we'll start to take some shoulder rolls. Again, you can look at the screen or you can keep your eyes closed. These will be pretty simple movements today. And just moving your shoulders up and back, and then up and forward. Focusing in on your breath, keeping the breath really long and wide in your chest. Nice. And then bring your chin down to your chest and start to move your head over to one side, even bringing your eyes up, and then roll your head back. Again, let your body take over from here, whether you want to bring your head all the way back and then to the other side, or whether just moving from ear to ear feels best. Drop your shoulders no matter where you are. Full breath in and a long breath out. Really good. Now we'll start with some body rolls here. You can bring your hands either to your chair or you can keep them on your lap, and then just start to move forward and back, rolling your body to the edges of the chair. And you can keep this as big and as wide or as small as feels good to you. And feel your grounding in your seat. If you're standing, this probably is a little bit harder, but you can still kind of do it by moving your hips around. And then change directions when that feels good to you. Again, you can go ahead and close your eyes and really feel into your body. Make this feel as big and good as you'd like. Let your body lead the way. Kind of let yourself know how big or small these circles are. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really good. Here for a final 2 breaths. Really nice. And final full breath in. And full breath out. Hi, Stephanie. I'm just leading us through some conscious movements. You can just go ahead and join in. All right. We'll now move into some side stretches. So go ahead and lift your arms up overhead. Even look up over your head. Big breath in as you look up. And exhale, sway to one side. You can bring your arm down, even to the floor if that feels good, or you can bring it to the side of your chair. Pull your gaze up. And this will help open your chest a little bit more. Big inhale. Feel the stretch, the opening from your side. And stay here for the exhale. Inhale, come back, arms up, look up. Big inhale. And exhale, sway to the opposite side. Again, the intention is to look up to the ceiling or to the sky and just to open your chest a little bit. Full breath in. And stay here for the exhale. And go ahead and come back to center and bring your arms to cactus. And then open up through your chest, looking up at the ceiling. You can even bring your hands, you can interlace your fingers and bring it to the back of your neck if that feels good to you. And you can rest your head right into your hands, or you can stay in cactus. So you have options here. Breathing into your chest and then out, opening up your elbows as much as feels good. We spend so much time hunched over the computer, so this is a nice way of just opening up. Full breath in and exhale out. Bring your arms overhead, keep them overhead, and then we'll do some twists. So coming to a twist to the side, you can bring your hand right to the edge, the side of the chair, and then you can bring your arm back, just twisting in. Full breath in, sitting up a little straighter. And on the exhale, settling in a little bit more to the twist. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale, twist. Coming back to the center. Arms come up. Even looking up. Full breath in. And exhale, twisting to the other side. And just let the chair help you here. Pulling your gaze to the back of your room. Breathing deep into your body, letting the breath make you a little bit taller in your seat. And on the exhale, twisting in a little deeper. And then coming back to center. And we'll do our side stretches again. Big inhale, gazing up at the sky or at the ceiling. And on the exhale, swaying to one side. This time you can keep both arms overhead if that feels good. Again, pulling your gaze up to the ceiling. And you can always bring your arm down if that feels better. So the intention is to open up the side of your body. Full breath in. Stay for the exhale. And on the inhale, arms come back up. And then swaying to the other side. Really let this feel good in your body. Whether you've been sitting for a lot of the day, or whether your day is just starting like here, really let it feel good. Full breath in. And a full breath out, coming back to center. Really nice. Give your shoulders a little roll. Maybe even shake out your hands and your arms, just getting some movement in. And we'll come back for our final movement. We can just bring our arms to a cactus. And so on the exhale, we'll take a big breath in and exhale, twist, and then twist. So do this as quickly or as slow as feels good to you. I'm waking up, so right now it feels good. And exhale on each twist. No one can hear you. You're in the room alone or with your family, which is totally fine. They know you're nuts. So just do those exhales. And these twists are really detoxifying for your body. We're here for 5. For 4, you can close your eyes. For 3, 2, and 1, coming back to center. Really nice. Shoulder rolls up and back and up and back. And just settling. Notice where you are and how you're feeling now after just a little bit of chair movement. And we'll go ahead and take a full breath in together. And then exhale out. letting your body be breathed. Final full breath in together. And a long exhale out. And give your body just a little thank you for getting to this meeting, for doing a little bit of movement and breathing yourself. And now that your mind is clear and focused and just a little bit more present, Chris will be on in a minute to lead you through this workshop. And in the meantime, make sure you grab a pen and paper, or even your journal. And just make sure you're in a comfortable spot, that there's not as many distractions around. So you have about a minute to do this, and it might be a good time to get some headphones. And we will be right back.
All right. Thank you so much, Ali. That was fantastic. Motion and movement is so important. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chris Sirach, creator of the InnerPerformance program. And yes, put those emojis up there because you'll be at the top of the leaderboard by the end of the session if you do. And like Ali mentioned, we'll have some great prizes for you at the end of that. So, a little bit about myself. For over 25 years, I was a Fortune 500 consultant for companies like Google, Nike, Adobe, Mercedes, Starbucks, you name it. I also lectured at places like UCLA and Pixar and NASA and mentored startups all across Silicon Valley. And needless to say, I was surrounded by high achievers, people who were smart, who wanted to get ahead in life. And working in these high profile environments, you would expect them to feel happy and accomplished. Yet what I saw was people grinding out the day, working long, inefficient hours, really trudging towards the weekend, only so they could blow off steam. So despite all they were achieving, they had really no fun, no joy, no ease in their lives. And I saw this and I learned from this. And I managed to avoid the pitfalls of high achievement for the most part. Uh, some of it was just my own luck that I was grown and raised in an environment that emphasized health and happiness over blind pursuit of material gain. But I also made a separate career out of seeking help, experts, courses, advisors, anyone who would help me on my journey. And my friends even called me a retreat junkie because I was always signing up for the next event on how to manifest a great life. It wasn't easy still, but what I found was that having a program, having a mentor to shine a light on the path forward can make all the difference in the world. So not only do you learn to actually enjoy the twists and turns of life, but you get there quicker, which is what we all want. So this is why ultimately I created this program. I've aggregated all the things that I saw worked for myself and others so that you don't have to go through years of trial and error and let's be honest, suffering. This is what I call the difference between high achievement and top performance. Chinta, could you pull up that slide? Let's look at a table that exemplifies the two. Let's get that table up. All right. Let's take a look at the left side of the table, the high achiever column. High achievers are outcome oriented. They're always focused on the goal, which is why they're missing out on the present moment. They're focused on the reward, which is very different from really feeling and experiencing right now. You have a tendency to sacrifice your joy now for that reward later. And that's why you get self-critical, because you're always focused on that outcome. You start to control your environment. You're not comfortable with things and elements that don't fit your plan because you've put a lot of thought into this, meaning you've overthought it likely, and you've overplanned it. And now you're in this reactive state that if anything that doesn't match the way you thought it should happen to reach your goal, that you react to that. So you're reacting to the picture in your head, ultimately, and not engaging with the situation in front of you. And so all of this, as you can tell, is very head heavy. It's mind centric. And that's what gives way to a lot of fear, anxiety, and trepidation that you're not doing the right thing, that you're not going to reach your goal. Again, you're not present to enjoy and respond to the present moment. Now let's take a look at the right side of the column, the top performer, and see if you can catch some glimpses of how to do things better. We're not all completely left table here or right table, but the top performer column shows us what the difference is really. You're process oriented, which is how do we make the best decision for the situation as it's happening now. There's a fulfillment that comes from this, and a self-assurance, because you're not trying to control and steer life, but you're actually responding and engaging with it as it is. And that requires flexibility. But being flexible and not rigid is always a good trait in any situation, be it in personal life and professional life. When we meet the challenges head on, that's when we usually come up with the best solutions. Again, keeping it simple instead of overthinking it. That is a key element to top performance and success in life. You're action-oriented, solution-oriented, forward momentum-oriented. You're responding to things as they're happening. And all of this really is a heart-centric way to approach life. You're feeling, you're experiencing. And there might be up and down emotions in there as well, but that means you're engaged. When you're feeling your emotions and you're not in resistance to them, that's when you're really engaged. And that leads to fearless outlook. You're really moving forward and learning your lessons and improving as we go. And that's really what life is all about. So you can see there's a huge difference when you look at these things side by side between forcing your way forward towards your goals and really just enjoying yourself every step of the way. All right, we can take that down, Chitta. Thanks. So what I've seen that all achievers have in common is that they're stuck on these traits on the left side of the table. You can't even begin to find your happiness because you're always chasing outcomes. You're living by what you think should be happening and not responding to what actually is happening. And you're living for that future happy day, and you're sacrificing the joy of living now. And so weeks and months and years can go by, and you feel like your life hasn't even started. And so this heaviness is that is what drives us to then overthink, overdrink, overeat, over TV, over social media. And there's just no happiness in that. We have this precious life to make the most out of. So really coming back and engaging with what is so key. So really, the real question is, how do we become unstuck? How do we move from these left table traits of high achievers that achieve something, but they're miserable, to the other side of the table, the top performance table, where you are achieving things, but and experiencing joy along the way and actually getting there sooner. Outcome might always be a little different than we expected, but again, we're experiencing joy and making decisions. And usually, when you make wise decisions to what's in front of us, then the outcome, even if it's different than expected, is more organic, it's more natural, it's what was meant to happen. And there's an even deeper satisfaction in that. There's a miracle of experiencing life unfolding. We're always in our head and everything happens according to plan, which it never does. But even if it did, that would be a boring way to go about. But rather be part of the miracle of the unfolding, and things are happening and they're incredibly satisfying because you didn't know they might happen either. And there's no reason to be afraid of that. There's just magic in the unknown. Okay. All right. Well, we can talk about this all day long, but you've got to feel it to believe it. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get unstuck together. So what I want you to do is get out your journal or pen and paper, and we're going to sit in a comfortable position. Make sure there's no distractions. Wear your headphones if you need to. I'll give you a few seconds to get set up. Yes, Chelsea, fear-driven is huge. All right. Okay, now I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, with your journal ready, I want you to think of a recent interaction that triggered you. It could be an incident with a friend, a family member, you know how those trigger us, a coworker, a random person on the street, a neighbor, something or someone who really annoyed you, pissed you off. It could even be something like you had planned to go to the gym this morning, but you wound up procrastinating or slacking, and now you're upset at yourself. So let's take the next 2 minutes and write down what triggered you. Something that was said, something that was done, something you would have said, or that you would do differently if you could relive it. And write down that experience and what you felt in that moment. Let's get up the timer and let's begin. All right, take a few more seconds to finish your journaling. Okay, so I want you to put down your pen and sit back and relax into a comfortable position. And we're going to close our eyes. We're going to ask you a series of questions. They're simple questions. You will answer them only to yourself, silently in your head. It's important to do your best not to analyze or judge or try to explain what you're experiencing. You can always analyze things later, but for now, simply follow along. Listen to my voice. Should a feeling of discomfort ever arise, do your best to simply notice it and then come back to my voice, come back to the instructions. If the discomfort ever gets too intense, it usually doesn't, but no, you can always open your eyes. You can always go back to your calming breath, which is something I will describe. So let's first begin by focusing on your body and locating where you feel triggered by the incident you wrote down. Scan your body and notice where you feel activated. Where is that feeling stuck that was triggered? Where does it show up? All stuck feelings show up in your body somewhere as sensations. It could be in your stomach area, lots of emotions live there. It could be in your chest, maybe from past heartache. It could be in your throat from a time that you didn't speak up when you were supposed to. It could be a sensation in your head from all the pressure you live with. If you can't find a sensation at first, keep looking. It's there somewhere. Feelings that you're feeling are there somewhere on your body, and keep scanning until you locate where you feel triggered. Know that you're always doing your best, that there is no right or wrong, no true or false. There's only the reality you experience within the framework of your body. So keep looking for that sensation. I'll give you another few seconds. Now, with your fullest attention on the sensation, answer the following questions. Is it a broad, simmering sensation, or is it a concentrated, pinpoint one? Really observe that sensation. See what its character is, its traits. Can you see, is that area fluffy, or is it more dense? Really examine that sensation and what you're seeing. In fact, can you look around the sides of it? Is it three-dimensional, or is it more flat? Really observe that sensation, that area where you're feeling triggered. Can you see a color? Does that area have any color? If not, that's fine, keep observing. But if you do see a color, is the color consistent across the whole area? Or are there different shades of it? Take a moment to take that in. Now I want you to zoom into the surface, get really close, and see what it looks like. Is it flat? Is it jagged? Is it bubbly? Something else altogether? Really get in there and observe. Be present with it. No need to judge, no need to analyze. Just observe. Keep observing the surface and notice any changes, any activity. Just keep doing that for another 30 seconds. As you're observing, notice if there's any movement. Is there any motion to this area? Is there somewhere it wants to go? If not, that's fine. If it's still, just keep observing. But if yes, follow the direction it wants to go. See where it takes you. Let's do that for another 30 seconds. Now I want you to zoom out slowly, gradually, and look back at where you originally felt this sensation. Has the area changed? Is it more intense, less intense? Has it shifted? Has it moved? Can you even still see it? If the sensation has changed, if you can still see it, keep observing it in this unbiased way. And if you can no longer see it, if you're not able to locate it, what do you see in its place? Look around, really explore that area. Let's do that for another minute. Now, gradually bring your attention back to your breath. Let's again take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you feel ready, you may gradually open your eyes. Notice your environment. Notice yourself in your environment. Notice the energy in your body. Notice your aliveness. So take a moment, let's just be still. And if you feel like it, you can use the chat to enter a few words of how you feel. Yes, calm but energized. we're really burning so much energy with our reactivity to things. To explain the exercise we just went through, what was keeping that feeling stuck, all the things we react to all day long, is our subconscious resistance to feeling them, to truly feeling them. All things come and go, all thoughts and feelings arise and pass, unless we react to them. We react to them in one of two ways: by either resisting the feeling when they're unpleasant, or clinging to the feeling when we're pleasant. And so all this resisting and clinging keeps our feelings stuck, and layers of stuck feelings have piled up over the years. And that is what we're then constantly reacting to. And that is what we're then trying to control and steer our environment so that it doesn't trigger us in the unpleasant ways, and it triggers us more in the pleasant ways. And suddenly we're no longer free. We're no longer in control. We're no longer living. We're at the mercy of our environment because we're constantly looking outside of ourselves to create the conditions so that we can feel a certain way inside. So as long as we have all these stuck feelings inside of us, we're going to be at the mercy of our environment, of what people around us say or do, of situations happening this way or that way. And that is the high performance issue. Is the high achiever issue is that we're always looking for the outcome and controlling things along the way. And we really want to shift that to the top performer mindset, where we're responding to our circumstances. And we can't respond to the circumstances if we're constantly feeling triggered. So the step one in the inner performance program, in achieving this joy and happiness of free flow and being in the zone, is to come out of reactivity. That's most of the work we need to do on ourselves before we can really thrive. Very transformative in working with the energy. It shifted quite a bit. Once you truly understand and experience this energy that was blocking you, that was weighing on you, you feel it dissolve or you feel it leave you, you start to recognize the power that we have to heal ourselves. It's really, we're not ourselves and living our own life as long as there's all these layers of stuck feelings, because underneath all of that is our inner voice. It's our true self. It's our core. We're made of love. Ultimately, the passion of creation has gone into all of us, but we can't connect with that because we're constantly at the surface, reacting, controlling, and steering. So releasing the stuckness, and learning to trust the unfolding of life and being a participant in that, not being in resistance constantly to what is happening, is the key to happiness. And it's the key to top performance. We really need to clean ourselves up on the inside so that we can make good decisions on the outside, and good decisions lead to good results and that are in alignment with who we are. But we got to connect with that inner voice first. Yeah, feeling the black stone on the throat. You will experience all kinds of artifacts that will come up in this exercise, and it may peel back one layer. You may release one stuck feeling, and that then reveals what's underneath, which could be many more layers. And you might have experienced some discomfort of just sitting with the feeling, but feelings are still just feelings. They're energy, and even if they're very uncomfortable and sometimes even a little scary, they're not going to kill you. You will be able to release things. There are deeper traumas that require more support and a true therapy, but most of the things that annoy us are these everyday things. Somebody cutting us off in traffic, running out of toothpaste, can't find your keys when you're needing to leave the house. These are the things that we burn so much energy on. And these are the things when we come out of reactivity and we learn to see things as they are without amplifying them, without putting a whole story on top of them. That's 95% of our energy goes towards the story, not the actual event. So the more we reduce the story, the clearer we are, the clearer we think, the better our decisions, the more we see the path of least resistance, and we really start to embody action-oriented, positive momentum living. So I'm glad I saw some of the energy shift already simply by observing the stuck feeling in an unbiased way. We're so used to just pushing it down unconsciously most of the time. And now in this exercise, we just looked at it, we examined it. It's less about the color or the shape or the depth and all that. It's about spending time with it without judging it. So by examining it, you are in an open-minded, non-judgmental frame of mind. You're seeing it as it is, and that's when it starts to break up again from all those often years and decades of stuckness, and it starts to leave you. And we want to get into this flowing state where feelings no longer get stuck because we're just reacting to things around us, but we're actually feeling our feelings. So many people are afraid that if they feel their feeling, that it's going to be permanent. That's how the mind thinks. But that's not how it works. Is when we actually allow our feelings to arise, then it is going to pass. That's the natural flow of life. Life is ever changing, it's always flowing. Things enter our experience and then they exit our experience. And it's our job to get out of our own way. And when we do that, things get easier, things get more organic. You see opportunities that you can't make up in our minds. We're so stuck on trying to live the best life we can imagine, not realizing we can't imagine our best life. Our mind is too limited for that. The possibilities are too endless for that. We're such infinite beings. There's so many dynamics to life and what is happening out there. Why even try to control that? Why even predict or pretend to be able to predict that with our planning? And anyone who's lived a few years can already look back and say, well, everything I planned happened differently. So why keep doing that? All right. Stephanie, I feel lightness where I felt heaviness. Excellent. Yeah. Even if it doesn't disappear fully in the first session, you're going to shift the energy simply by observing it in an unbiased way, by examining it, by sitting with it, by being with it, um, and really, showing self-love. This is an act of self-love and self-care. All right. Any comments, any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. We have a few more minutes um, before we close it out. Okay. Yeah. Great comment, Chelsea. Not limiting ourselves to our imaginations. If, we try to plan our lives ahead, we try to, create a 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. We're always controlling. We're trying to create that situation where we no longer feel annoyed, we no longer feel triggered. But ultimately, that's conditional living. We're trying to create the conditions outside of ourselves that make us feel good and successful and loved. And all the lack ultimately that we have, we're trying to make up for it by controlling our environment. But if I asked you straight up, can you predict the future? Can anyone predict the future? You would say, no, no one can predict the future. Yet we still keep living and trying to plan everything out and predict the future. So it's a little bit of a form of insanity that we keep doing that. And underlying all of that is this sense that we're going to live forever. So we try to predict the future and we act like we're going to live forever. And so these two elements really make up for a lot of tension and a lot of stress inside of us. And learning to really come out of our head and into our body. That's why the session up front with the movement was so powerful. And really, anytime you sit down and do anything creative or anything productive, make sure you get some movement in. Or if you find yourself stuck along the way, get up and take a walk or do whatever it takes to get some movement going. Because again, our feelings tend to want to rise to the surface, but it requires some movement. And so you can sit and meditate all day, but unless you actually get up now and then, the feelings don't fully leave you. So it's always a combination of the inner work and also movement. Yes, it is ironic, Chelsea. Self-care Sunday, inner wellness. All right. And that's it for today. I thank everyone for joining. It was a great session. I hope you got a lot out of it, and you really feel this real and tangible impact that you've had on your whatever stuck feeling you were working on. It's not something that takes, you get rewarded at some later point. It doesn't really take whatever 26 days to form a new habit or anything like that. It's really instant that you feel the change because our feelings want to leave us. We're keeping them stuck by either clinging to them because they're pleasant, and that's the underlying foundation of addiction, or we're pushing them down because they're unpleasant. But feelings are just feelings, and they're meant to flow through us. So let's get out of the way and create a mindset and an attitude and a practice around letting those feelings flow, letting them inform us, because they're telling us, they're leaving behind an imprint, an insight of what's in front of us. And that way we still allow ourselves to stay balanced, keeping a quantumous mind, so that we have the ability to take clear action. All right, that was it. I'm Chris Sirach. I hope everyone enjoyed today's workshop. There's lots more coming in the future, so always stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter, and have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Allie, please close us out.
Great, thank you. I think energy work like this, which is what I call it, can be very powerful for moving things that are just stuck. And for me, that we can't really like meditate or yoga our way out of. So it's sort of like a combination of practices that I think is really effective. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So the winners for today are Chelsea and Emily. And so just stay on for the chat, and somebody from the team is going to reach out to you about how to claim your prizes. So thank you for everyone for being so engaged and really being here. Attention for an hour is often kind of tough to come by. So you've really invested in yourself here. We also want to let people know that we'll be launching something called the Inner Circle Community Group, which is a chat for those who have already subscribed. And you can check Chris's website for a link to do that and for more information. So it's a way for people in this community to be more in touch and to get updates via WhatsApp. And to get more movement and energy practices, as well as reminders. And if you want to dive deeper in, you can schedule a private session or a consultation with Chris. And so one of the team will put a link onto the chat, or you can go ahead and check Chris's website. And a big thank you to Chris for sharing his knowledge today and just leading us through this exercise. So let's continue to learn, grow, and support one another on this amazing journey. Take care, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Okay, so with Chris, he was very calm and very zen-like, of course. A lot of quiet downtime. He really processes before he speaks, so what comes out is really a lot of wisdom. Just his voice is very calming. Chris has reminded me of the importance of things like pausing before you just speak. And that, the meditation, one of the biggest takeaways from Chris is that, it's not just about the hour of sitting in stillness, meditating. It's about taking that and being that in your day-to-day life, being mindful, thinking, pausing before you just say something or react. Chris is very inspiring and amazing teacher, and I'm so grateful that I was able to experience this retreat with him.